Namaskar बच्चों. Today we are starting the chapter Chemical Kinetics. Before we start the chapter, I would like to welcome you all after the vacations. Hope you all are safe and sound at your home. So children, starting with the chapter Chemical Kinetics, we shall first understand what is the meaning of chemical and kinetics. Chemicals, we understand everything that is in front of us is made of some chemicals. But kinetics here simply means we are studying the rate of reactions, how fast or how slow a reaction will be. So children, here the chemical kinetics let us study the speed of a reaction, along with it the mechanisms how these reactions actually take place. We shall be discussing them very soon. So children, like we measure the speed of a vehicle by knowing how much of distance is covered in how much of time. Similarly, there should be some way out to study the rate of a chemical reaction. How should we study it? How should we know? How would we know whether a chemical reaction is actually taking place or not? If you pay attention here, children, you will see that this reaction is taking place. Here reactants are giving products. So time we can measure with the help of a stop clock also, stopwatch also. So knowing how much of reactant is reacted to give the product, we will be able to know the chemical rate of the chemical reaction. So let us say that delta T represents here the time taken for a particular change in concentration of the reactant, and therefore change in concentration of reactant will be represented by delta R, that is initial concentration will be subtracted from the final concentration. And we know, children, that the reactants concentration decrease with time, so this quantity will be negative because the initial concentration was higher and final concentration must be lower. Then simultaneously we can also measure the change in concentration of products. So change in concentration of product, again we can say that the final concentration minus the initial concentration. So initially when we started the reaction, the concentration of product was 0, and say for example after some time it reaches P. So the subtraction of initial concentration minus final concentration will give you a positive value. Now the change in concentration, we can say that decrease in concentration of reactant by time taken, we can say it will give us the rate of reaction. Fine, children. And then we shall study how it take place. Now rate of disappearance of reactant can be taken as rate of reaction. Similarly, rate of appearance of product may be taken as rate of reaction. See here, rate of disappearance of reactant is equal to decrease in concentration of reactant divided by the time taken. So similarly, the rate of reaction may be expressed in terms of rate of appearance of product divided by time taken. So children, if we plot a graph between concentration of reactant on y-axis and time taken on x-axis, we will be able to calculate the average rate of reaction. Simply average rate of reaction, total change in concentration by total time taken. And the graph we will obtain is a curve of this shape. So this shape of curve can also be used to find out the rate of reaction at a particular concentration, which we call as instantaneous rate. So let us say we want to find out the instantaneous rate at this particular junction of time. So by taking the slope of this curve, we will be able to find out the rate of reaction at this particular instant. Fine. And otherwise also we can say that minus dr by dt, dr means very small change in reactant concentration and dt means very small change in time. Here the small change will tends to 0 but will not be equals to 0. That will give you the instantaneous rate. Also this ratio is equal to the minus slope. Simply we are calculating the instantaneous rate of reaction with the help of this slope. See children, and the same thing we can get by plotting the concentration of products against the time. Here a graph of this shape will be obtained. You see children, the concentration of products is increasing as the time goes out. So we can say after some time the rate of reaction will become constant. Fine. So as you see, with the passage of time the concentration of product is increasing, which is very much in proportion with the decrease in concentration of reactant. These two graphs you can see with respect to each other, and paying attention you will be able to know that rate of fall in the concentration of reactant is exactly equal to the rate of increase in the concentration of products. So again, taking the concentration of products, we can find out the instantaneous rate of reaction by finding the slope of this curve, which therefore our instantaneous, that means instantaneous rate is equal to small change in the concentration of product divided by small change in the concentration in the time, where small change simply means tends to 0 but not equals to 0. So moving further, here children, there is this very small numerical example. This one, from the concentration of C4H9Cl, that is butyl chloride, at different given intervals, calculate the average rate of reaction. So knowing the equation for the average rate of reaction, we can easily put the values. So average rate of reaction is what? For a given particular time of slot, we will have to know the fall in concentration of reactant. So here you see the time is given in seconds at 0 time. That means at the initial at the beginning of the reaction, the concentration of reactants was 0.1 mole. At 50 seconds, the reaction, after the reaction has taken place for 50 seconds, the concentration of reactant fell down to 0.0905 concentration. So finding out the rate of reaction for the initial 50 seconds will be equal to difference in the concentration of the reactant divided by the time, and you see here it is like something here. So if you, this is calculated for every 50 seconds of the time with the help of the difference in the concentration at the two times. If you pay attention children, you will see that rate of reaction is slowing down. It is falling down as the time passes away. So we can say rate of reaction does not remain the same throughout. Initially it is higher, then it slows down and it becomes a bit stagnant, and then it does not change much. So the same thing can be understood if we plot the reaction concentration along the time, and instantaneous rate of reaction, as we have already discussed, can be found out at any instant of time. Like here in this example, at 600 seconds, the instantaneous rate can be calculated by knowing the slope, by measuring the slopes of this curve. So now children, one very big thing, say for example we have a reaction of mercury reacting with chlorine giving us mercuric chloride. So how should we, can we Can we correlate the rate of reaction of reactants, rate of disappearance of reactants with the rate of appearance of products? We have already discussed that they are proportionate to each other. The rate of fall in reactants will be proportional to the rate of rise in the concentration of products. See here, rate of reaction, if we are dealing with the fall in concentration of reactant, it will be having a minus sign, so that the net quantity comes out to be positive, because rate of concentration of reactant falls down every time, so the difference will be negative, and multiplying it by negative we will get the positive quantity, that is the rate of reaction. As we know that speed of anything cannot be negative. It can be either 0 or it can be more than 0, but it can never be less than 0. Therefore, we always need to have the rate of reaction in a positive quantity. So, rate of disappearance of mercury divided by the time taken is equal to the rate of fall in the concentration of chlorine divided by the time taken, which in turn is now equal to the rate of rise in mercury chloride divided by the time. So we can say fall in the concentration of reactants is proportional to the increase in the concentration of products. Let us see a few more examples. Say for example, we have this dissociation of hydrogen iodide to give us hydrogen and iodine. So can we say that the stoichiometric coefficient will have some effect on rate of reaction, or they will have no effect? Let us see. Children, if any reaction is balanced and it has some stoichiometric coefficients which is more than or less than 1, then we have to take into account these stoichiometric coefficients. So in the case of dissociation of hydrogen iodide, the rate of reaction is equal to minus 1 by 2 fall in the concentration of hydrogen iodide divided by the time taken. Here 1 by 2 is simply the stoichiometric coefficient will be divided by the concentration, or you can say the concentration of the reactant or product will be divided by its stoichiometric coefficient in the rate equation. So we will get here minus 1 by 2 fall in concentration of hydrogen iodide divided by time taken, which in turn is equal to fall in concentration, rise in concentration of hydrogen divided by time, in turn equal to rise in concentration of iodine divided by time taken. Children, you may be asked for 1 mark to write the equation, rate of reaction equation for a given kind of reaction. Say for example, here we have 5 times bromide ions when reacted with bromate ions along with acidic medium having 6 of hydrogen ions to give thrice of bromine gas plus thrice of water. So rate of reaction, as I already told you, fall in concentration or rise in concentration will be divided by its stoichiometric coefficient when you write the rate of reaction. Therefore, the rate will be equal to minus 1 by 5 fall in concentration of bromide equal to minus delta minus fall in concentration of bromate ions divided by time, and similarly there will be equal to minus 1 by 6 fall in concentration of H plus ions. The stoichiometric coefficient has to be taken into account. So this is how it goes.